Howdy, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. This is our Grand Slam Australia predictions panel, and it's me and my good buddy Oscar, the Oofman, who joined us last time. Glad to have you back on board, Oscar. I'm glad you decided to come back and revisit our humble little site here.
Yeah, no problem, Glenn. Thanks again for having me. And it's going to be an interesting show this Saturday. Unfortunately, as you know, we know the backstage noise of this pay-per-view has unfortunately taken over the hype for this pay-per-view. And I don't know what Tony Khan was thinking when he booked this, but I hope at least the show delivers. I mean, they have some pretty good matches that we're going to talk about, but unfortunately, the backstage noise took over the hype of the show. I don't know if you want to talk about it real fast.
We can talk about it.
We got here.
Why don't you start with that?
Well, the whole thing, a couple months ago, they announced that it was going to be this big stadium show in Australia. Everybody got happy. Then a couple months into the selling of the tickets, they didn't sell enough, and then they switched it to like an arena, a 10,000 seater or something like that.
The Brisbane Entertainment Center.
That's right. That's the new one where the pay-per-view is. But now the new scandal that all the dirt sheets and all the websites have been reporting that they were trying to compute. So if you bought tickets to the stadium show, they were trying to compute to equal value tickets to the arena. But then some people were pissed because they paid a lot of money for the stadium, and then they're getting almost not the equivalent for the arena. And now people were the latest report that just hit about a week ago was that people were asking for refunds, and the ticket provider, not AEW, from what I was reading, the ticket provider wasn't giving refunds. So it's all hell. That's on the logistics side. Now it's for you, me, and everybody else that's going to want to watch. When the hell is this going to air?
for those of us not in Australia, we don't necessarily.
Those of us in America or not Australia,
don't have to be concerned with that aspect. I mean, it is a shame, though. I remember hearing about that they were booked in a larger venue. The venue's name escapes me right now, and had to go to a smaller one. There are the times I know WWE has had to switch venues, and other wrestling companies have had to do the same. From that standpoint, that is a little disheartening. I'm pretty sure that they expected, Australia, the very first show in Australia, to fill up a giant stadium. I don't know how good the Australian audience is for pro wrestling by and large. I'm not 100% sure. I would figure NJPW would be big over there, and probably WWE is popular there as well for All Elite Wrestling. I mean, maybe the stadium itself was maybe a little too high of a goal. So, situations like this, at least they were able to course correct. But the issue with, going from one arena to another, and then the tickets not necessarily lining up to what you had, and then trying to get refunds, and then a ticket company is being a problem too. I'm hoping that lessons can be learned, and any logistical things of this nature will hopefully not happen, or at least be mitigated when they decide to do another show like this.
WWE was there last year, I believe, for the Chamber. Headlined by Rio, retaining the title and all that. So wrestling is wanted there, but this whole fiasco, unfortunately, everybody just likes to kick AEW when they're down, and it's not that I'm an AEW loyalist, but it's all right, hopefully to I don't want to say make up for that snafu. Hopefully, I'm sure the show will still deliver with the matches that are right now. They look great, so I think they will.
Oh yeah,
obviously, like you said, hopefully this doesn't happen again. Hopefully.
Yeah, I have no doubt that they're going to deliver on this. And you are absolutely right about AEW being kicked when they're down. I mean, it's just kind of the way the pendulum appears to be swinging right now. But like you were saying, when is this show going to air? And I noticed a lot of people, I didn't have this confusion. I had a confusion about when the show was going to air, but I didn't have a confusion as to whether or not it was considered a pay-per-view. I personally... Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm too. When I remember they announced it, Grand Slam Australia, okay, I just thought, all right, it's going to be like what they used to do in New York. Now it's in Australia. Whoop-de-doo. Big stadium. All right, cool. Still, there was never... I don't ever remember hearing AEW saying it was a pay-per-view.
Yeah, me
but then everyone's like, well, if you're going to book a big stadium, why wouldn't it be? But it's but they never said it. They never advertised it as
ran with their assumptions on that one.
Yeah.
And I guess that's okay, because truth be told, I wasn't I didn't think it was a pay-per-view, but I wasn't quite sure what they were doing. I didn't know if this was a Max special or something that was going to air, simulcast like they've been doing with Dynamite and Collision, because it's just Grand Slam Australia. There's no Dynamite or Collision associated in the title, at least. So I just figured it was something completely separate. But I mean, maybe that is also where the pay-per-view classification in people's minds came from, So either way, from what it sounds like to me, it's supposed to be airing on TNT after the NBA All-Star Game, and then simulcasting on Max whenever that's supposed to be. I have a feeling I might end up catching this the next day. But
yeah, it might be like 11 or midnight or even 1 a.m., just depending, like you said, whatever the NBA All-Star Weekend coverage ends. And again, reading reports, they're hoping that's a good lead-in for them, but you kind of shoo away the wrestling fans. Well, in our day, in the 90s, that's when basketball was the bomb. I mean, the Bulls ran course. I had all the jackets, all the jerseys. I haven't been interested in NBA since then, so I'll wait to see what time it actually airs. If it's not too late, I'll watch it. But if it's like 2 a.m., I'll be like you, like, all right, there's tomorrow, Sunday. I'll watch it then. But if it's not too relatively late on Saturday night, I'll watch it. But if I'd say I'll give it maybe 2:00 in the morning is my limit. If it's after that, forget it. I'll just watch it on the replay. And I hope that doesn't ruin the plans for the show. But again, it's all been a kerfuffle leading there. But again, like we've talked before, when it comes to big shows or just pay-per-views or specials, whatever, not counting Battle of the Belts, AEW has produced. So hopefully it'll continue.
Yeah, Battle of the Belts. I think the belts maybe changed hands like twice.
Yeah, I have like the 7 or 8 of them, whatever.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I get it, but just kind of a funny name. But I don't know.
Yeah.
Old man Glenn might not be able to last past 11 o'clock. I'll probably fall asleep on the couch.
Yeah.
So why don't we get started with?
All right.
Let's see. Why don't I start with this one? Okada versus Buddy Matthews for the Continental Championship. I personally am a little upset that Malachi Black is no longer part of AEW, but whatever he decides to do with his own career, more power to him. And that's going to leave the spots open for Buddy and Brody and Julia to step up. And here I think we're seeing the beginnings of that. I like the interactions between these two. I mean, I honestly didn't think that Buddy Matthews and Okada would be fighting each other this soon. It's not exactly on my bingo card. What's your thoughts? What's your take? Where do you think this match is going to end up?
Well, I think it'll probably start off the night. That's just me. Started with a good match. Okada's over. Matthews is going home. He's an Australian boy too. That's the thing about this pay-per-view. There's so many Australian stars, and all of them are in title matches. I don't predict, again, listening to other podcasters, reading other predictions and all that. I don't know if AEW is going to have that many. They have Revolution next month in March, and that's a pay-per-view.
Yeah.
And like I said earlier, with this whole leading, not the storylines, but just the backstage stuff of the show, I can't see Tony changing all the titles. So I'm sure it'll be a good match. Okada and Matthews will give us a good barn burner. But I think Okada will retain, because I think they're waiting for Okada and Omega. That's Tony's dream match. I think that's when Okada will finally drop the title. I mean, yeah, it's Omega. He's above the Continental title, but I think he's been waiting for that dream match. So as much as I like Buddy and all that, great wrestler and all that, it's still going to be a good match. But I say Okada is going to retain, and I'm sure Buddy will have he'll have the hometown or the country behind him and all that. The fans will be wild for it, but Okada retains.
Yeah, absolutely. That you have my exact line of thought with this. I think the two of them are going to have a really good match. It's going to be a real banger, as the kids like to say. But I think Okada is definitely going to walk away with the title. Buddy Matthews is going to look very good in the process, but Okada is still going to retain, because I think they're saving, as you eloquently put, the eventual Okada Omega match, and that one, as the kids will also say, should feed families. So that's what I think is going to happen. I think Okada is going to retain here. So, speaking of Australian influence in this, we're going to come to this one next. Mercedes and Harley Cameron. I have to say, I love the progression of Harley Cameron's character. I've known some of the stuff that she did in AEW or prior to her time in AEW. I know she's a singer. I know that she's an accomplished musician. But some of the other stuff, like being a ventriloquist and just some of these other talents, I was not aware of until she just kind of brought them out on screen. She's, in my opinion, one of the best examples of maximizing your minutes. She's on the screen, and every second there is just something good that comes out of it. There's no wasted energy. There's no wasted motion with her. That said, I don't see her winning this. I think it's going to be similar to the last match. A very good, valiant effort. I think Mercedes is going to bump like hell for her and do her best to make her look good. But I don't see Harley winning. There might be kind of like a mutual respect thing at the end, because I think at the end of the day, that's something Harley is also wishing for, just to be taken seriously. And I think this might be the time where Mercedes finally looks at Harley as someone other than a puppet master and someone as a legit competitor. But I think Mercedes is going to retain here. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I agree. For those at home, we went to a con and we met Mariah May there, and she was tabling with Harley. And I regret by the time we got to her, unfortunately, Harley had her photo op session, and I would have loved to have taken a photo and chatted with Harley. But yeah, like you said, she has come out of nowhere, like you said, like this ventriloquist thing. AEW needs to sell those Mercedes puppets.
I would buy one day one.
I would too.
Actually have a couple of puppets already, so just add it to the collection.
I mean, Alexa is killing it with the
something.
Well, there's Alexa. She's killing it with the dolls in WWE, and now I'm not saying they would sell out of those puppets, but Alexa, cancel. I would just know that they would do a killing with those puppets. So, and she was on the Jericho cruise. She joined Fozzy on stage. I saw a video of that, and a friend of mine went to the cruise. Shout out to Chris Beef. He went to the cruise. He took video of Jericho and Harley sing. She's got a voice. That girl can sing.
Oh yeah, like she's a very accomplished musician.
Absolutely. But like you said, when Harley's on camera, your eyes are glued to her. If anybody watches the YouTube interviews that they do, that Renee does with them, oh my gosh, she is just amazing. But again, like we said earlier, I was the firm believer that I was believing it till probably last night that I think Tony Khan is waiting till Mercedes knocks off Jade Cargill's record for the TBS title, but she's still got a long way to go. So I'm not believing that anymore, but I'm on the belief that, yeah, unfortunately, again, Harley, another Australian, I think she will take the loss. Mercedes is killing it she's got 4 belts now, I believe. So yeah, again, I think they're just going to save it. Again, my feeling just keeps going back to the way we got to this show. They're saving it for a Revolution or even probably All In. Those are bigger. Those are stadium. Actually, All In is a stadium show in Texas, so maybe that's where Mercedes to whoever, I don't know. Maybe I'm hoping Chris Statlander. That's just my vote. Mercedes drops that title to her, but yeah, it'll be a competitive match. And yeah, I think the way Harley has been trying to get Mercedes' attention, mocking her with the puppet and just teasing Mercedes, I think Harley's going to give her. Mercedes a run for her money, and they'll probably do the handshake thing or just the head bob of respect and stuff like that. I just hope Harley doesn't fall down the ladder after this, because you got something in her. Like, use her, have her every week. The backstage stuff, it's just, she's killing it, like you said earlier. So yeah, Mercedes again retains here the TBS title.
Yeah, definitely. Harley Cameron is currently fire in a bottle. I certainly, regardless of what the match outcome is, I would not want her to fall further down the card. No, I don't think so. I don't want that to happen at all.
Or even, hopefully, if this is match one of many where she just continues to be a thorn in her side, she brings up the fact like maybe she brought Mercedes to the brink, almost like Chris Statlander. They had 2 great matches together, Mercedes and her. Maybe Harley continues to be that thorn, and again, maybe this is the first of many. And then, because Harley just a couple weeks ago got her official first win as a single competitor, and now to give her the title this soon, I am aware she's hot and all that, figuratively and as you see her. But to give her the title just like that, again, hometown, she's on fire and all. I wouldn't, because then where do you go from there? I mean,
yeah, exactly.
She remain hot. Could Mercedes win it back like on another Dynamite? She could, but I think it would just for the pop that you want at home. I get it, it's home country and all that, but yeah, I think Mercedes retains.
Yeah, I think we're along the same wavelength with that one too. So let's see here. What the hell? I'll pull up this one next. The dream team of
Dream team.
Osprey, Omega, and Dream Team of Osprey Omega, excuse me, are taking on the Callis families, Konosuke Takeshita and Kyle Fletcher. What are your thoughts?
Well, we know what Fletcher and Omega did in the ring. We were there, full gear. It was
Absolutely.
steel, barn burner, show stealer right there. Now you throw Omega in there, Takeshita as well. This will be probably the match of the night. I'm going to say, because I mean, look at who's in there on one side of the graphic. But again, though, it's a tough one because you got the Callis family that I know they're trying to build as this heel stable, this unstoppable heel stable. Don will probably be a ringside. The Screwdriver will be there probably as well. But maybe I think the baby faces will win. Again, this is going to be the insane match. Hopefully, we see the Kenny from NJPW, maybe from New Japan. But again, because he hasn't been that Kenny yet, he still does great matches in AEW. The baby Omega literally fires him up, and we know what Takeshita and Fletcher can do. And again, I think this is going to be the match of the night, but I'll give it to the baby faces this one. This will probably continue on again to probably Revolution. But I think it'll probably officially, maybe it'll be Kenny and Okada till All In. So maybe I think probably Omega and Fletcher will have another match because again, you put those two together, you got to sit there and you're in awe. Again, we were at Full Gear, and me and my friends couldn't believe we knew this match. We knew this match was going to kill it, which they did. Now you put Omega with Osprey, and it's like, all right, this is they call it the flippity do match, but I don't care. I think this is going to be call it the Dave Meltzer special, 10 stars, but not in the Tokyo Dome. But this is going to be the match of the night, and I say the baby faces take this one.
Yeah, the note to all wrestling fans: flippy shit can be fun. It's okay to like flippy.
It can. There's nothing wrong with it.
I know too much of anything is not necessarily a good thing, but in the right context, flippy shit can actually roll. For something like this, I don't want to use no, I won't say it for this. I know that Osprey Omega have kind of the mutual enemy, your enemy is my enemy, and so we're friends, like that kind of thing.
Yeah, the enemy of the enemy is my friend. Yeah.
Thank you. Words is tough today. So
yeah, it's a Thursday.
They have that situation going on, and I think that's good. That's a relatable story. Both of them have been screwed from the Callis family. The thing in my mind though is who should win this match and who needs who would hurt less from the loss. Something like this is, I look at it, it's almost like a coin flip. And thinking about it earlier today, I'm actually going to go with Takeshita and Fletcher. Only for the reason is I feel that Omega and Osprey could use a little bit more of a mountain of the Callis family to climb over. And so it'll be hopefully a better result at the end. But that's kind of my rationale. Regardless of who actually wins this match, I feel like it's going to be match of the night. And I think that the fans are definitely going to appreciate this one. But I'm going to go with the Callis family.
Cool.
So on to the next tag match. Death Riders, Cope and Jay White. Now, the part of my brain that's my favorite wrestler from the 2000s taking on my favorite wrestler of the 2010s is definitely marking out. I view a match like this, I don't want to use the phrase throwaway match, but I feel like it's kind of just along like a step on the path, you know what I mean? It's kind of like a stop on the tour. I did like what they did with Dynamite this week and bringing the briefcase into things. I feel like that was creating a nice dynamic level here. We already know that the Cope and Moxley match is on. So Brisbane Brawl, I feel like again, I don't want to use the term throwaway match. I feel like this is the kind of thing that's kind of put in there because it's a Brisbane Brawl, which is probably just a no DQ match. And they're going to be going around the arena. Everybody's going to be losing their shit watching it. And Jay White, is from near Australia, so I guess that's close enough. This one, I think I'll go with Cope and Jay White on this one. I think this is one of those things that's going to be a crowd pleaser, make the people happy. Because I think a lot of fans are getting a little tired of the Death Riders angle. I'm not. I'm still invested in it. But I think Cope and Jay White are going to take this one. What do you think?
I'm going with Cope and Jay White as well because I think what we finally saw it on AEW this past week. Mox accepted Cope's invitation to fight, so now they're fighting for the title. And jumping way ahead, I don't think Cope's going to take it from Mox, so that's why I'm choosing Cope. And I don't know who's going to pin who. Maybe Cope does. Maybe he pins. I was going to call him Cesaro, but he pins him, and he just like he stare downs Mox or something like that, and just tell him like this could have been you, blah blah blah. So I'm picking Cope and Jay White because of the fact that I think at Revolution when it's Cope and Mox defeats Cope there. So, but again, if this is on, if this is the main event for the pay-per-view, even though I think the final match we're going to talk about is the main event. But if this is the main event, I'll still stick with Cope and Jay White winning, and it'll be a good match. All four guys are going to give it all, and the whole brawl, Bisbee brawl. Yeah, it's going to be ringside stuff. We'll see the members of the Death Riders come out. We'll see other guys probably defending Cope and Jay White. I don't know who. Maybe FTR. I don't know. I can't even think of right now. Who would save them?
Throwing the Outrunners into, I don't know.
Maybe them. Yeah, I don't know. But someone will probably come out to help them out to even the odds, and then the match focuses back to these four. But yeah, I'm going to go with Cope and Jay White get the dub. I'm going to say Cope gets the pin, but I don't know who he pins, though. If he pins Mox, it's like, then we'll do the typical announcers. Oh, if he does this next month, he's the champion. So I'll still say Cope and Jay White win. Cope gets the pin, but I don't know who he pins. That's the thing.
Yeah, that's something I didn't really consider, who would actually take the pin. Claudio looks like the one who would definitely take it.
Most likely, yeah.
If Mox says, "When like I think I'd do the corny." Oh, well, if he beat the champ, that means he can win the champ.
Yeah.
I don't think that Cope is going to win the title eventually from Mox, or if he does, then Christian Cage is going to use that clipboard immediately, just like he did for the TNT title, which I'd be a happy guy with that too. Jay White's involvement in this, though, is kind of interesting to me because he's almost I don't want to say on the peripheral, but he's sort of playing, second place to Cope, at least with this match. Do you think there's going to be any kind of dissension between the two of them?
If it looks like Cope is like handling the match all by himself, and if you start seeing Jay White doing like that, like, come on, tag me, and Cope does the whole like, I got this, and he starts taking it on his own, then right there my antenna will be up like, okay, there we go. It's not really dissension. Like maybe Jay White will get frustrated, and maybe again they still could get the pin, and then I don't know where he does something to Cope to lay him out before the match is over, and then the Death Riders gang up on Cope. So it's like he won, but did he really win? He's not left standing. So I'll agree with you if I see that if it looks like Jay White wants that tag and Cope not necessarily ignores him, but tells him like, no, I got this, or we see the Owen and Brett from Royal Rumble 94, just tag me, he's desperate for the tag, and Cope tries to tag, but then he keeps getting beat up. Maybe Jay White will realize like, man, this guy's a horrible partner. I'm trying to tag him in. You're so selfish, remembering Owen, God rest his soul. You're just too damn selfish. And he's yelling that at Cope. Then I'll be like, oh, here we go. Jay White will do something. But I still say they win, and then maybe the Death Riders actually will get the last laugh on those guys, but mostly probably on Cope, if that happens.
They are also floated this whole idea of, well, we have to save AEW from the Death Riders, not necessarily just I have to win the title. Jay White, I think, wants to win the title for himself. Cope, I think, is more thinking of the brand. So that's where I'm thinking that there might be a level of dissension. I kind of don't think so, but the possibility is always there.
It's funny you mentioned saving the brand, because on Wednesday, it's like they stole the briefcase. They bring the briefcase up, and he's yelling at Mox. He's like, I care about AEW. And then he proceeds to bash the suitcase with the title on it, with a board with nails on it. I'm sitting going like, wait, if you care about the brand, why are you beating up the alleged title that's I get it, that's in a box, in a suitcase, but I wouldn't do that, but whatever. I know, I'm thinking logical. I know.
Perhaps he thought the briefcase was made of a stronger material.
Perhaps, yeah, I know. I get it. It's locked. You didn't have the key, but if I care about this brand, I'm not going to bash the crap out of the suitcase that has the
I
brand's main
bash
championship.
you because I love you.
Yeah, I love you. It's like what HBK to Ric Flair. I'm sorry, I love you.
Oh
Bash.
boy.
It's like, wait, if you care, I would get pliers or something to pop open the case, not a whatever. We're thinking logical in an illogical situation, as
Yeah, I mean, I would have just taken the briefcase and just gone home, or just open it in the parking lot. Either way.
But once they got their hands on it, I kind of celebrated, like, oh, finally, let's open it. Like, I read a lot of people saying, like, and again, you have the AEW title there. It's like, does that belt actually fit in that little suitcase? I don't know. It could, but beats me.
Maybe if you take the plates off and stack them, and then
yeah, just the plates, and all right, it counts. But it's just funny how we see that case every week, and I don't know if it was Nigel that said it. Somebody said it, like, or was it Taz? I was like, I wonder if the belt. They said something like they're wondering if the belt's actually in there, and I caught that. Like, yeah, that's again. I think the AEW title is one of the most beautiful titles there is.
Absolutely.
Personal favorite is the Winged Eagle, in my opinion, and I would put AEW right behind it as number 2. But how big and thick it is like, is it really in that little space of that brief? Well, if they say it is, sure, I'll go with it. But I just found it funny how Cope's like, I care about this brand. Oh, here's the brand's title in a suitcase. Whack. It's like, oh. Man.
It would have been great if he actually hit the thing enough to open it up, and all you saw inside was
right. That would have been, yeah. That would have been
cool. Like a bologna sandwich inside,
Yeah, or a paper saying haha, or I don't know, something. But it was just funny how you say you care about something. You care about something that's in a briefcase, but let me proceed to beat the snots out of it. It's like,
I care about it so much, I am going to destroy it.
Yeah, and the fans all cheered. I'm sitting there going, like, I would be like, no, just no. I wouldn't be cheering. No, like, you care about the title. Oh, just try to pry it open, man. But
wrestling
that's
fans
why they're there, and we do what we do. So yeah, but yeah.
So on to the last match, which should be the main event. If
I hope it is, I really hope it is,
and have the cojones to do it. Even before I talk about this match, I have to say, I'm wearing the shirt. Toni Storm's character has to be my favorite character, probably in the past. Favorite character. Forget women's wrestling characters. Favorite character
overall.
Yeah, probably like the past 15 or so years. She has absolutely nailed every aspect of this character, from conception to deployment, if you want, whatever you want to call it, from the beginning to the end and everything all in between. There is not a moment of that character that she has not thought out, and it has been one of the best, most developed. The woman behind the character is 100% invested in it herself. And I can't possibly say enough. Anything with Toni Storm, I have the bobbleheads, I got the action figures, anything with that on it. I've purchased it because I enjoy the storyline so much. And I'm really, really glad that she was able to get to this level in All Elite Wrestling. And as a byproduct, Mariah May has stepped into her own as a result. I feel like the two of them behind the scenes are probably putting a whole lot of work into the direction of how the story is going, plus folks like RJ City and everybody else involved in creative. Definitely from this whole storyline, Mariah May has become a much bigger star. She was sharpening her teeth in Stardom, came to AEW and had basically the full package, just needed the vehicle to get it out there. And I think this whole feud has really brought that up. This is one of the best examples, of everybody winning in a feud. That said, for this one, it really kind of depends on the placement of this match on the card. If it's earlier, I have a feeling that Mariah May is more likely to retain. If this is the main event, Toni Storm is definitely winning it. And I feel like my prediction, maybe my want over that, so perhaps the fanboy in me can't get past that. I think Toni Storm should win this. I think it would be great if she was able to overcome everything and get that 4th title reign in Australia. What do you think?
Yeah, to go back to what you said, I remember when she was with Paige's group, and then we saw the beginnings of the Timeless character. I remember that first promo that they made of her where she was in her loft or something.
Mm-hmm.
When it was over, I was literally laughing my ass. I was like, what did I just watch? And I'm sitting here going like, what was that? I went on YouTube and I saw it again. I cracked up even more. Like you said, she's gotten, from what we know, she's got complete control over this. And I'm sure Mariah May also helped out as well when she body doubled as Toni Storm the first time as Punk Rock Toni Storm, then the second time as Timeless. And then just a couple weeks ago, everyone's like, oh, they're all in love with Toni. I'm like, I've loved her since day one. I don't think, not since Natalya, have I wanted to meet a female wrestler. Like I'm as you know, as you can tell, I'm a diehard Hart family fanboy. Met Brett and all that, and I was dying to meet Natty. Finally did a couple years ago. But I don't think ever since Natty that I wanted to meet a female wrestler more than Toni. And you got to meet her. I'm jealous of you. I hope it's my turn one day. 3 times. And so hopefully it's my turn someday. But yes, like we've been saying, she has been killing it. The whole going back to the second she returned as Punk Rock Toni, I knew what was going on. I was like, she's playing. It's Timeless Toni Storm playing Toni Storm. And when she revealed herself a couple weeks ago, Chef's Kiss, and then her dressing up as Mariah May. Wow. I thought it was Mariah, but again, they're
that was one of the most convincing, body double cosplays, whatever I've seen. I mean, there was a whole lot of just investment in that whole situation. That was really, really funny.
Yeah, a couple days after that happened, it was either both AEW or Mariah's Instagram. Toni's Instagram put a video of her transforming, and you see her as Toni Storm. She spins around, then she's Mariah May, and it's like, what the F? Like, that's Mariah. No, it's Toni. And this whole thing one thing that I don't like is when I read things and people go, oh, this is WWE's loss because they released her, but you could not know if WWE would have let her become what she has become now. It's almost like many years ago where people from WWE would kick WCW's ass and be like, oh, they let go of a Stone Cold. See, it's your fault. We don't know if Steve Austin would have become the Stone Cold character in WCW. Sometimes it takes that, leaving a company and then talking to the promoter or creative going like, look, I just have this idea, and then rolling with it. So, Toni left WWE. She got thrown a pie in the face by Charlotte Flair. I'm glad she left because
I think that kind of thing is what skewed fans to think negatively of that time in WWE, because they probably view something like that as disrespectful. Here you have someone like Toni Storm who is an accomplished wrestler, and she's taking pies to the face and then is just sort of released.
Yeah, and so word was she asked for it, and WWE didn't even blink. But again, sometimes that's what it takes to get what we got, and it's always the whole, WWE's loss is AEW's gain. And yeah, since day one, this character has been killing it. Everyone's like, what's the lifespan of this character? Again, from what we're seeing, she hasn't missed, even when she was gone. And again, her Instagram, she did promos because I think she was near the fires in California. So she made this promo as Toni Storm saying like she's not flying to Mexico. But instead of like blaming it on, not many flights were leaving Cali, she just said like, I'm not going to Mexico. And it's just the delivery. It's all in the delivery. It's always, actors, like we see movies, we can quote lines, and there's that one little stupid line that is 5 words long, but it's all like, I tell friends of mine, it's all in the delivery. How do they deliver it? And Toni's been killing it. But on the flip side, you got to give credit to Mariah as well. The whole, when she finally turned on her, my jaw hit the ground. We all saw it coming. Stevie Wonder
saw it was going to happen eventually, but just the way it happened.
But again, it's always, again, it's in the delivery. You knew Toni was treating Mariah as her little pet, and you knew Mariah was going to turn on her. It's always the delivery. How do they do it? It was brutal. Like she bashed it with the shoe. He watched for the shoe, bashed it with the shoe, with the bell. There she is, bloodied, and you're sitting going like, again, you knew it was coming, but it's on the delivery. So kudos to both ladies with this storyline. I hope it keeps going. On that note, I'm with you, Glenn. Depending on the position of this match. But again, though, I keep going, for some reason, my brain keeps going back to how we got to the show. Again, not necessarily the storyline. It's the whole backstage stuff. So with Revolution, but I keep thinking All In because I just think, again, it's a stadium show. It's bigger than Grand Slam. It's going to be bigger than Revolution. Revolution is at the Crypto Arena, I believe, in LA. And again, that's a pay-per-view. You want people to buy into the pay-per-view, whether legally, illegally, whatever you want, but you want numbers on your big shows. And again, I keep going back to how we got to this show. Again, not storyline-wise, just backstage stuff.
Yeah.
Again, I'm with you. It depends the position of this match. If it is last, I'm like you. I want Tony to win, but again, since this will be their second match and they just like to go back and these characters, hopefully, because I think if Tony wins, it'll be a wonderful moment in Australia and all that. And then it goes back to like the then what the scenario, like we said earlier with the other matches. So my heart says Tony, but my brain says Mariah.
Okay.
And I hate this. I hate it when I'm on
it's like picking your favorite kid, you know?
Yeah, like who's going to college? You or you? Mariah or Tony? So unfortunately that's where I am. It's like I could see both winning, and obviously Tony will win in Australia, maybe the Pyro, cool. But if Mariah wins, we can keep the storyline can actually progress with Mariah still bragging that she's better. Maybe Tony goes back to another sad state. She disappears again, and she comes back even funnier than she came before, where she played Rocker Tony Storm. Maybe she comes back officially like a double danger of Mariah. Like, I just feel like there's more possibilities if Mariah wins. But I think if Tony Storm wins, we'll go back to the old, now she's Timeless Tony Storm babyface and wreaking havoc in the women's division, all that. But I think eventually I kind of want to see Tony go after Mercedes in a weird way, because you have Mercedes as she's your biggest female signee. We all know that. Yeah. But right now, the hottest character female wrestler right now is Tony. I know eventually TK would want those two to clash. So unfortunately, I'm at a stalemate. It's like heart says Tony, brain says Mariah. And
like 51-49.
Yeah, well, actually, the needle, I think, is right in the middle. It's swaying, but not enough to do it. So that's my prediction. I'll be happy with either or, but I think you'll get more out of this angle and these characters. I think if Mariah wins more than Tony, unless Mariah then also goes crazy and she starts beating Tony backstage behind her and all that. But to make an official pick, I'm going to go with Mariah here. Okay. Maybe some shenanigans happen. Maybe she wins by DQ. I've seen a lot of other predictions. I haven't heard about Mina's presence. Maybe Mina comes in,
or Luther turns on her. You never know.
Well, Luther is back. He came back on Collision, I believe, last week. I was told, but I think more like I haven't heard anybody mention Mina. So would Mariah and Mina reconcile, and she causes it, or will Mina just cause trouble for both, where it's a double DQ, or I just think it'll end in shenanigans. It either ends in shenanigans or Mariah wins. Yeah. As much as I love and adore Tony, I think you'll get more out of this angle if Mariah wins, and then I'll throw Mina in there if she causes shenanigans, or it's like it's a disputed finish, F finish as the business is called, and then we lead to again maybe jump over Revolution, and then maybe All In. We get the third and final match, and maybe that's where Tony wins it. But I just think that there's more. You'll get more out of this if Mariah wins. So I think my official pick is Mariah retaining, either pinning Tony or some shenanigans happen that it ends with Mariah leaving Australia with the title, unfortunately.
I mean, two other aspects have me leaning towards Tony. Currently, I don't have in my prediction set any other title change happening. I feel like something's going to change. And in my mind, this has the highest likelihood of something changing.
Yeah, I agree.
You could say the same thing with Okada Buddy. That could also happen. I just feel like this would. And another thing that AEW likes to do best of threes.
Right.
So Mariah gets the first, thing, yeah. Tony gets the second. You got your rubber match sort of built in for either Revolution or All In. Again, I'm fine with either result. I definitely want I want Tony to win more, obviously. But if Mariah retains, I mean, I'm still be a happy guy. Either way, that's going to be one hell of a match.
Yeah, again, I think the lady's going to pull it off.
And it better main event the show. It better main event.
Again, yeah, I hope so as well. It's gotten no offense. I mean, we know Cope's been chasing Mox and all that, but they'll have their time to shine. We already know they're going to have their time to shine in Revolution, so
exactly.
They can't really
hands down. it is hands down their best storyline right now. And I think,
Absolutely. Oh yeah,
especially with being in Australia, with Tony being Australian, it has to main event.
it has to. Yeah, and
Like
if Buddy doesn't win and Harley doesn't win, then the 12-year-old fan in me will be like, okay, there you go, Tony's gonna win it. But again, I just feel like if Mariah wins, there'll be more out of it. But like you said, they love their matches in threes. So, but again, all I know is I'm gonna enjoy this, and just like you, whoever wins, I'll still be happy because I just feel like there's so much more they can tell with this. Plus, that movie that Tony is in is coming out, Queen of the Ring or whatever.
Yeah. I definitely want to see that. I believe it's.
I want to see that too.
It's going to be in theaters, I believe,
in May. I think
something like that, either May or March,
something like that. Anyway,
again,
the whole like, would you put the title on one of the actors? I don't know. She's not the star of it. She's in it, but I just hope the women are going to kill it. Like I know they can. It's going to be a fun match, and hopefully it's shenanigans. Good shenanigans, but I think in the end, I'm going with Mariah. But just like you, I'll be happy with either or, really.
But one of the things you talk about the women wrestling, and I think it's a good thing that there are 2 marquee women's matches on this card.
Yeah,
and I think that's a really good step in the right direction for their women's division. I don't think like 3-4 years ago anybody would think that AEW's women's division would get to this point where they have just a veritable amount of talent to go through. Because, of course, Mercedes, Harley, and Mariah and Tony, but you also got your Statlanders, you got your Willows, you got Sky Blue, you got Julia Hart. You got a lot of women who are coming up, and, Red Velvet and Athena are just killing it down in Ring of Honor as well. They have a very fleshed out women's division, and I think that's a really good thing. And I think it's a big feather in their cap that this big show, their first show in Australia, is being headlined by not just 1 but 2 women's matches. I think that's fantastic for them.
Yeah, it's great. But then again, I just go back to the backstage story of it, where it's like, if they would have sold more seats and it would have been in the stadium, if we get more attention, hopefully it should have maybe been a pay-per-view or at least a Max special, not just a random. Everyone's saying it's a glorified Collision. It's like, it is on a Saturday. So again, I just feel like the attention that has gotten on this company is just going to drag the show. And again, like we're saying, this match a lot of people have been waiting for, and unfortunately, it's in this show where again has got this rep where fans are angry. Which again, I completely understand if I was in their shoes, or even fans in America who are traveling, if they are to Australia to watch it. I get it. Unfortunately, that cloud is still above this show, and I just hope it didn't lead to that. But we are. But again, their shows have killed it, and these 2 women, I know, are going to do a great job on this match and all that. And it's good. Yeah, kudos to the booking and all that. That we do have 2 strong women's matches in this. Hopefully, that'll continue to grow. And because years ago it was just Sheeta. I think everyone was just talking about Sheeta and Britt. It's like, all right, cool. But now, like you said, you just named almost all the women in the roster that when they get attention and they're pushed and they actually give a crap about them, we fans give a crap as well. And we like that. It's not necessarily listening to the fans. It's just like push them, and we will give their attention to them. But obviously make this, again, the Tony Storm story, this timeless storyline is literally timeless right now. It's you can't, there's nothing. Even talking about the other guys, like, all right, you got Cody's always in the storyline. The Bloodline is always in the storylines. They're good and all that, but nothing, like we said, I don't think nothing has been more attention grabbing than this timeless Tony Storm storyline. Because like you said, since day one,
the level of wits, the level of investment that Tony herself has put into this, and the level of investment the company's put into it. That's even better too. That they have the faith that put her out there. We know she'll do a good job,
right?
And I think 3-4 years ago they might not have thought of any of the women in the division in quite that way, and I just think it's great.
Yeah, and again, hopefully we're seeing it in Harley right now. Hopefully another there's another storyline that'll with the women catch on fire that'll get things moving. Willow is crazy popular. She's just adorable.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone's like, she's like AEW's version of Bailey. All right, I can see that. You see Willow, you just want to hug her. And she's just cool. Statlander, hopefully she'll go back to what she was before her injury.
I think fans might enjoy themselves more if they immediately stop trying to look for a comparison from the other company. Just kind of
absolutely. Yeah.
And that works both directions.
It works both ways, yeah.
Kind of just watch it and enjoy it, or at least give it a try. If you don't enjoy it, you don't have to watch that part. But you could easily say that Julia Hart is a copy of like Alexa Bliss in terms of the spookiness and all that stuff. Same with Sky Blue in her recent direction. And also new women like Megan Bain, and I don't know what the story with Camille is, but I'd love to see the two of them.
That would be awesome. Yeah.
I
think Camille's hurt. Last I read,
she's hurt. Okay,
she has an injury. Yeah, but yeah, to see them two go at it, cool and all that. But again, it's the old attitude of like give it time and all that. But again, the time they devoted to the, no pun intended, to the timeless character. Again, kudos to Tony Khan, to the booking committee, to anybody involved in that storyline. And again, especially the creative team to go like, all right, again, whoever came up with this idea, I've read it was all Tony's idea. Great. And like you said, that they entrust her like, okay, if we're going to put her out there, she's going to literally take the reins, take the lead of this character, this storyline. And I think it's paid off. Yes, it hasn't moved numbers, but I don't care about that. Others are obsessed with the ratings and all that. I don't care. I'm more on the whole, like, do they have my attention? The storyline, and they do. Unfortunately, me and the Death Riders, I think I'm done with it. Like, all right, let's get to the end. But Tony, it's like, give me more. Like, I want more. Where is now after Saturday? Where's that character? Where the story going to go? And again, whoever wins, I'm sure the story will go on. Will she disappear again? That's fine. You got to keep the character fresh. Not everyone's going to be Hulk Hogan dominating the 80s and all that. So maybe she does disappear again. Yeah, hopefully not. Or the bloodline that's been around since we were in high school, I think it feels like right now. But again, I hope the character stays fresh, the storyline progresses, or you pause it again, she goes away, she comes back with another more metamorphosis of another all I know is that this storyline has got my attention. I'm thankful they do, and Tony and Mariah, they're both killing it. And again, hopefully this will and again, Harley now is killing it. Hopefully this will move on to someone else where, again, they just keep getting your attention for the good. Again, not for the bad, or it's like they get your attention for like they're now starting to push Powerhouse Hobbs. All right, cool. He's been on for the past couple weeks. All right, my attention is gravitating to him. Build on that. Hopefully the last couple weeks, Dynamites and even Collision, which I don't watch. I don't even know if you watch them, but I don't watch Collision. But people have been saying they've been pretty damn good. Again, they had the reveal of Tony Storm there. So this is all for
the past few weeks of AEW television, in my opinion, and a lot that I follow online, it's been noticeably better.
Yeah, that's what many are saying.
Mm-hmm. There were reports that Tony Khan was involving himself further in the shows, and if that's true, then it definitely shows. He's a much better booker than people credit him for.
Yeah.
And I think if he really does have his head in it that much, then it certainly shows.
And then hopefully this Death Rider angle finally has a nice ending, even if it means Cope winning, and like you said, which I agree as well, Christian taking over, fine. But we finally have a nice conclusion. So again, they're doing pretty. They've been good with, like we said, a couple past weeks. Again, I can speak for Dynamite, have been really interesting. Again, leading up to this show. Again, unfortunately, I feel that the backstage noise has taken over it. The show's going to happen on Saturday. There's still that cloud over it. Again, I understand both sides to a point. I mostly understand the fan side. I get it. You bought your tickets. You spent X amount of money in it. Now they've made the switch. You're not getting really your money's worth. I completely get it because, again, I would hate it. It kind of reminds me of with the whole pandemic. I bought tickets to that first Dynamite at Prudential, and then the pandemic happened. Yeah, I was all excited, like, oh, I'm going to my first AEW show, but then the world shut down. They kept moving the date, and yeah, we were supposed to have the first Blood and Guts, and then they kept moving the date. I was tempted to sell the tickets back. Like, I got like, what will we ever go back to normal? And then finally, the world did, and then they finally had that first AEW show. It was a good show and all that, but I'm glad I didn't. But I can understand fans' point of view. That's never happened to me as far as a wrestling show goes, getting canceled to all the Raws and SmackDowns I've been to in the past and some pay-per-views. Thank God, knock on wood, thank God and all that. But I think I could understand what these fans are going through. But hopefully, again, like I said, even though that cloud is going to be over that stadium on Saturday, I still hope it's going to be a good show. I hope all the matches should be fine, like we spoke about tonight. And I hope that cloud doesn't, again, really affect the show. Because personally, it has not really affected me, but I keep going back to that. Like, as much as I'm excited for the two women's matches, I'm happy for Harley and for Mariah and Tony. I still keep thinking back of like, man, hopefully this is the drama of the booking of the show, of the booking of the place that wasn't as loud as it is, or as loud as people are making it to be. But again, understanding what has happened
from my perspective,
that has taken over a little.
From my perspective, I mean, I heard about the switching venues, of course. Any real discourse in terms of fans not getting their proper seats, proper money, which you had mentioned earlier, I've not seen a whole lot about that on social media. So I'm hoping maybe that certain sects, certain groups are affected and they're making a deal. Hopefully it's not the wrestling world by and large. I mean, the fans should fairly get what they pay for, but I don't think, or at least I don't hope, that it's not as gigantic of a cloud over things as you say it might be. But at the end of the day, I
just say that because I'm just reading things or reports of what people in Australia are.
I got you.
Are not complaining, but they're angry, which I understand and all that. I haven't read anything of people in America making travel plans and all that. It's mostly an Australian thing. But like we said earlier, people just love to bounce on AEW. When one little thing goes wrong, instead of a little dot, they just stretch it. And again, then you have the people trying to make the reports and all that. And then just the anti-AEW crowd will just jump on it.
The grifters.
You suck, blah, blah, blah. So, but again, hopefully the matches, which again should all be pretty good, with again the men tag team, the Dream Team one being I think is going to be the match of the night. But again, hopefully Mariah and Tony close the night and they'll earn the spot. Besides the fact that it's Tony's home country and all that, but I think they're going to earn. They're just going to earn more points closing the show, and then hopefully, you never know. Maybe All In, if that's the rubber match, maybe we end it with that. Who knows? But again, hopefully, it's going to be a great show. Hopefully, it's not too late, so I can at least watch it. If not, like you, I'll wait till the next day. Yeah. But I know it'll deliver. As they've always done. So
the possibilities are endless, and more importantly, the possibilities are timeless.
There you go.
There you go. So on that note, I think we will conclude. I appreciate the time you took to talk with me about this, Oscar. And it's always great to have you around. Always great to bounce things off you and talk about wrestling. Good old wrestling.
No problem, man. Good old wrestling show. Yeah. So hopefully we'll do it again for Revolution next month. What do you say?
It sounds like a plan. I'm absolutely all for that. And everybody watching this, I thank you all for giving us a listen. Like, follow, subscribe, comment, all that happy stuff. And we will see you next time.